everyone. Welcome to the I Am an Icon podcast. This is episode 2. And today with me, I have Dustin Blount. I am super excited. He is a seasoned financial planner and also an entrepreneur. And when I first met Dustin, I was just kind of blown away by like the boss, like era, like aura he gives. And so I'm super excited to talk to him today and for you guys to really learn about who he is and what he's doing as a young boss professional in his field. Dustin, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me. I'm really excited.
So, Dustin, I want to start off this conversation just kind of learning more about who you are and who is Dustin? Tell us a little bit about who you are.
Sure. Yeah, when you sent me over the email kind of outlining some of the stuff we were going to talk about, I mean, that's a difficult question to answer who you are, especially if you do a lot or, everybody's got a lot of different things going on in their life. I mean, as a professional, I would tell everybody that I'm an entrepreneur, serial entrepreneur. I am involved in multiple different businesses and investments. But I primarily kind of advertise myself or tell people that I'm a what's called a registered investment advisor. So I'm a financial planner. I have securities licenses that through the SEC, FINRA, but just kind of a everyday financial professional for the most part. But when I was thinking about this, maybe to give some more background into who I am as just like as a person. But I'm from a small town in Iowa. Grew up right across the river from Omaha, Nebraska. Spent my summers in Omaha, so kind of in the not so great part of Omaha, to be honest. So I've seen, and then also kind of grew up in kind of the country or small town Iowa as well. So I've seen a lot of different sides of the world, I guess. But when I graduated high school, I joined the military, the Army, National Guard, as an intelligence analyst, which is, you know, uh, essentially my job was to mitigate risk and help plan missions and plan our routes, target bad guys. I did some pretty fun stuff when I was in the military. And then I like football a lot. I grew up playing football. It's a big passion of mine. It's difficult for me to watch because I miss playing it so much, but I do still watch it, like sports. I like going out and being social and stuff. That's kind of what I like to spend my time, is just being around people. It doesn't matter what we're doing. I just want to be, with people and learning about them or hearing about their experiences and stuff. But yeah, I'm pretty much obsessed with my career and my businesses and stuff like that. At least for now, I'm single and I want to just focus on myself and my financial future, my career and stuff, so that whatever comes next, I'll be prepared for that. So.
Wow, that's awesome. And I never knew that you were in the military. That is so cool. I feel like you've had like 9 lives, have like seen all of this stuff, and that's super awesome. What got you to Minneapolis?
So I went to Iowa State, and when I was at Iowa State, I met a ton of people from Minneapolis, and made a lot of friendships, lifelong relationships. I think that I'll continue on. As of lately, last couple of years, some of those people have even left Minneapolis. So I'm like starting to wonder if this is where I want to spend the rest of my life, or if I'm being drawn other places or not. But yeah, I met a bunch of people from Minneapolis when I went to Iowa State, and after they all went back. They all came back to Minneapolis. So I was like, all right, I want to go check that out. Got a chance to come up here, go to Maynard's and get out on Lake Minnetonka and do some of that stuff, and kind of fell in love with the Twin Cities. And I've been here for about 3 or 4 years, and yeah, I love it. I love Minnesota. I love the people up here. I love the lake life, and hopefully, get a house on the lake someday, or maybe be a snowbird, get out get out here in the winter, but have fun on the boat in the summer. So I think that's everybody's dream. But
That's so great that you said that because I was just thinking I do not like driving in the snow. I am terrified of like ice. So I was like, okay, I need to be a snowboard too. Like I can't do the snow and the ice, but Minnesota is beautiful. Um,
yeah, I agree. The only thing I don't like about living in a winter state is I would love to be able to snowboard, hit a mountain or something like that. But you can fly out of Minneapolis for pretty cheap, get over to Denver, go Salt Lake City or something like that. So that's the only bad part about living in a winter state, but we don't get some of the benefits of the winter state. But
That is so true. That's awesome. So thank you for sharing like how you got started and about the beginning of your journey. Um, this episode is really focused on talking about just financial like planning and financial success in general because I think a lot of even myself as like young people we don't know the resources or where to find them. So one, I do want to learn like more about why you chose the financial field. I know when we had chatted, one thing that really intrigued me about your story was really figuring out like, how young people can understand certain investments and things like that. So like, I want to know a little bit more how you got started and why you chose and why you're so excited about this field right now.
yeah, I appreciate that question. I had to think about it and kind of remind myself why I got into this. And, my purpose in this industry has kind of changed over time, like what I thought I was getting into it for versus what I'm actually into it for now. Like just like when I joined the military, I always wanted to be a soldier ever since I was a little kid, wanted to watch the war movies and run around with toy guns and stuff. But ultimately, like, when I turned 18 and 19, 20, as my kind of purpose in the military transitioned a little more, and I realized that like I'm a protector. I wanted to be a protector, and I want to fight for like the right thing. And sometimes that can get convoluted in the military, because you don't get to go fight for exactly what you decide. It's what you're told to do essentially. But it's kind of the same thing in finance. I originally started because I thought I wanted to make a bunch of money. So do you know what the highest paying industry is in North America?
I don't.
Could you take a guess?
I think it's the finance
Oh,
industry.
you're exactly right. It's financial services and banking. So, when I was kind of doing my research as to what path I wanted to go down, I realized that money is tied to everything. Money is tied to real estate. Money is tied to marketing. Money is tied to the church. Money is tied to charity. Money is tied to sports and education, everything. And I just couldn't decide what I liked the most. So I was like, well, why don't I just get involved with money, which is tied to everything? And I will say that like I was correct in that assumption that um, you know I work with people who are electricians. Um, they own small businesses. They work in supply chain or logistics, or they just have all different backgrounds. And I learn about everybody's lifestyle. I learn about their businesses. I learn about their jobs. I learn about what their who they are, their past, their present, their future, and we make plans for them. So like money is tied to not only everything is tied to people's past and future as well. So like a timeline. Um, but ultimately, I wanted to make a bunch of money. That's really what I like. I thought the stock market was cool and hot and exciting. And, I liked putting on a suit or whatever. And I had an internship at Edward Jones. I was under a financial advisor who was, I mean, she was just incredible. And I realized very quickly working for her that she helped people. She really did help people. And like you said a little bit ago, like most people just don't know where to go, what kind of resources. And, I thought I learned so much about money studying finance at Iowa State that I thought it was kind of like, I thought everybody knew. I thought it was common sense. I thought everybody knew what a Roth IRA was. I thought everybody knew what dollar cost averaging was and some of these basic financial rules. Finance can be really complicated or it can be really, really simple. It's up to you. And everything I've learned about finance, you can learn on YouTube. It's just a matter of, I've spent a lot of time doing that. Now, in your career field or anyone else's, that's what they spend their time doing. If you're an electrician, you're going to learn everything about being an electrician. So I don't assume anymore that people know. And my job is just to keep things simple and let them know what tools and resources are available to them. Because just like if I wanted to go build a house, I'd have to talk to an architect or electricians or whoever. I have no clue where to start, how to do that stuff, and I'm totally fine with admitting that because I want someone who knows what they're doing to help me so that it gets done right. So now my purpose in this industry has definitely changed towards like helping people, and every time I help someone, They know it, I know it, and instead of it being like, something about a commission, or people are afraid to work with financial professionals, I think. The traditional financial industry is kind of, I don't know what you think of when you think of an insurance agent, but you probably don't think, when you think of a salesman too, you probably think, oh, they're going to try to sell me something I don't need,
Mm.
so people maybe tend to stay away from us. So that's kind of how I got into it. The truth is, I took a personal financial course when I was in the military, and that's kind of what led me down going to study finance and ending up on this side of the business. So
Oh, that's awesome. I love you bring up that point where, like when people hear like insurance agency, oh, you're gonna sell me something, but it's like there's actually things that could help us, right? And those negative connotations around like who this person is, like I feel like what you're doing, just like keeping an open mind and not judging people and knowing that there's a product or a service for every single person is I think is super awesome. So in terms of just finances, what are some of the lessons that you have learned? Like, what some of the lessons around finances did you learn growing up?
yeah. So like I said, I kind of saw a couple sides of the world. I mean, small town Iowa, and then also kind of the 42nd Street in Omaha. It's not the I can't paint the most glamorous picture of that. We didn't have a lot of money growing up. We really didn't, and I think most people can relate to that. I mean, most people aren't the top 1% or even the top 5%. So it was difficult. I couldn't afford basketball shoes most years. I had to get my football cleats to last me as many years as I could without them getting ripped up and stuff. And I didn't ever have exactly what I wanted. Christmas when it came around, I mean, my parents did everything they could, and like love them to death. They gave me everything they possibly could. I had a big family, a little brother, a little sister. I had 4 older stepsisters, and everything that I got meant I cherished it so much because. I mean, I've seen some of my friends and peers, they'd get a toy or something like that and it'd break, or they'd get I don't know, whatever it was that they'd get. I didn't see that they were taking care of it. So everything that I had, I was like, oh, I didn't want my little toy car to even get scratched. Like everything meant so much to me. Kept my clothes clean and took care of that stuff. Didn't want stuff to rip because I knew I just couldn't. I wasn't going to get more, or it was going to be difficult to get more. So everything, little thing meant so much to me. I remember like when I was growing up, my stepdad used to have like above our washer and dryer a little bowl of like quarters and coins and stuff that fell out of our pants, when we were washing clothes, right? And for school lunch, every once in a while, he's probably going to see this video now, or hear this podcast. I'm going to send it to him, but I'd take 50 cents or a dollar out of there to get, like a peanut butter jelly sandwich or whatever from a la carte at school, or a zebra cake or whatever. Like those were things that I got like really excited about. I learned from not having a lot, like how important every little piece is. So I still pick up dimes off the street. I still, and I'm not, I'm in a different financial situation now for sure, but um, I guess I just learned that I was going to have to go out and get it on my own because my parents weren't able to give me more, or give me anything really. I had to go out and earn it on my own. And I loved that I learned that lesson very young. I did my own laundry. I had to do chores. If I wanted to make money, I had to go out and find a job. And I did. I've worked a lot of jobs since I was very young. I worked at a grocery store and I worked late. I'd pick up everybody's shifts. I'd take, they'd pay me $10 extra to close for them or whatever. And I just worked my face off for like a long time. And I loved it, honestly. And not like I loved suffering in a job. I actually enjoyed my work. I enjoyed being around people, helping customers, whatever it was in whatever job I was doing. And then, I was promoted and I earned what I earned lessons, I guess, more than I earned money. And those lessons have paid off now in my career at this point, because the minimum wage wasn't going to really teach me anything financially besides, hey, you only got a few $100 this week to do whatever it is you're going to do with that. So um, yeah, I guess from all those jobs and stuff, I learned lessons that helped me manage my money and my time a lot better.
Oh my gosh, that is so powerful. And the fact that you point out just, even your parents, like providing what they can for you, but you realizing like the power of that hard work at an early age. And you're a hard worker now, but just seeing that is, I mean, that story is so powerful and definitely inspiring. So thank you for sharing that. Is there anything you wish you would have known more about when it comes to, that financial discipline, or especially as a young child, there's people who are going to be listening that have younger kids, and like even for me that have young kids who are trying to like create good habits right around finances. What do you wish you would have known more about, as you were on your journey?
Yeah, I mean that's a great question, and everybody loves to like think back and like, oh, I wish I would have known this then or whatever. But I would say like one of my biggest financial mistakes that I've made, even being a financial professional and learning about finance pretty young, like was cars. When I
Mm,
got out of the military, the first thing I did was I had all this money that I had made for basic training in my like AIT, which is pretty much like your military college. It's like where you get your training for your job. It was almost a year long of training, and when I got out, I had like, I don't know, I think I had like $25,000 or something. And I was 18 years old, and I didn't know. I was like, it was burning a hole in my pocket. I didn't know I had no clue what to do with it, right? So the first thing I did was like, I'm gonna go buy a brand new car. I bought a grandma car, but a little Hyundai Elantra. I'm sorry for whoever's listening and has one, but I should not have bought that car. It was very reliable, got great gas and stuff. But man, if I would have listened to Dave Ramsey, or if I would have asked a few, maybe my parents or someone older to mentor me a little bit, I would have been fine with a $4,500 $5,000 car, that would have got me to A and B. And I actually made that mistake several times. Every few years, I'd get bored and I'd want a different car, and I'd go buy a different car. It wouldn't be new every time, but I mean, every time you buy a vehicle, even from a used dealership or whatever, I mean, you lose thousands of dollars. So now, whenever I am making any sort of big purchase, I always make myself wait. And even making yourself wait like a week or two can go a long way. Do your research, be patient. Like, I just wish that I would have considered my options for longer. I think when people get something stuck in their head, like I need a car or I want a new phone or whatever, it's stuck in their head and they can't get it out of their head. It's like, write it down, put it on your fridge, or put it on on your agenda, your goals list or whatever, and forget about it for a week or two and see if you still need it. So that's kind of how I avoid those financial mistakes now. Um, but other things I wish I knew, I mean, there's so much now. I mean, as an adult, there's stuff I wish I knew even 10 years ago that's a little more advanced stuff. Like, specifically, what do you think of when you think of life insurance? So what's the first thing to come to mind?
dying.
Right. So that's what most people say. What if I told you that was one of the last reasons why people get life insurance?
Wow, I would be shocked, honestly.
So yeah, and I could go into more detail about that, but there's tons of different financial vehicles and products out there that do different things that people are just shocked when I tell them about. They're like, I had no idea that did that, right? And you'll never know until you talk to a financial planner. Just like I talked about, that kind of architect metaphor earlier. You'll never know until you talk to an architect, like the things you should worry about or think about if you're going to build a house.
Mhm.
So
And even life insurance is, from what I know, is a pretty, you can, I mean, I spend a gym membership, like what? My gym membership is probably $200 a month. Life insurance is probably way cheaper than that. And so it's a product that I believe a lot of people can invest in, but don't, because of maybe that lack of knowledge and understanding. So it's so interesting that, like you said, that, maybe dying is like the last thing people think about when they think of a product like that. That's really interesting.
So life insurance, I mean, there's a ton of different products. I'm just using this as an example because it's actually one of our hottest products right now. And the reason why is because, do you think taxes are going like in our lifetime, do you think taxes are going to go up or down?
They're going to go up.
They're going to go up probably, right? And most people say that, and it's because the Fed's printing money like crazy, right? We're in all kinds of debt. There's a variety of different reasons why we think taxes are going to go up. And what if I told you any money you put into a cash value life insurance product, you pay your taxes on it now, but you don't have to pay taxes on it later when you take that money out.
Mm.
So if taxes were going to go up, why wouldn't you pay your taxes now? So that's just one example of things that I work with like business owners or people who are making money and need to put money aside. They're thinking about their future. They're thinking about the taxes they're going to have to pay later. They're thinking about volatility in the markets, and I show them product solutions that address those concerns that they have.
Hmm. And Kim, so even though like that's it, that sounds like a long term like investment. Like, can you take out? Can you? Is there any way that you can utilize a life insurance policy like before someone dies? Like, how does that really work?
That's a great question that most people only ask when they get the chance to sit down in front of me and actually talk about these things, right? So you have a 401k or a Roth IRA, something like that?
Yeah.
So do you know the rules on when you can take money out of a Roth IRA or a 401k? How
I
old? So you cannot touch one of those products until you're 59 and a half. And unless there's three exceptions, but you'll have to pay a penalty if you don't meet any of those three exceptions. So number one is to buy a house. Number two is for some sort of medical emergency. So buy your first home, excuse me. And then some sort of medical emergency. And then number three is to start a business. So you can't touch that money until you're 59 and a half unless you're going to do one of those three things. And oftentimes it still doesn't even make sense to take money from either of those accounts, even for those three reasons, right? You want to tap into other things first before you would touch that. But cash value life insurance, for example, an index universal life insurance policy, you can touch the cash value whenever you want.
oh,
Now, as long as it has cash value. Now, that doesn't mean you should. Like you said, it's a long-term investment and it should be, but life happens, things come up, and people want access, they want flexibility, a little bit more liquidity, whatever it is. And that's kind of what we do is these products, what they do is they create options for people. Your 401k, yes, you should have one. You should be getting your match. Your Roth IRA, you should have one. And that's, a Roth IRA is awesome. You don't have to pay taxes on the money when you take it out. You got to pay taxes now, but you don't have to pay taxes on it when you take it out. That's awesome. But you can't touch it till you're 59 and a half. So there's, some of these products that people aren't aware of, and the flexibility that it gives them. That's kind of what I show people. So.
that is so awesome, Dustin. And I mean, I think it's so good to have that knowledge. Because honestly, like 59 and a half, if you can touch some money, if you need it, I think that's a good age, especially with the rate our world is going. Um, so kind of going into, and I remember one time I think we were on social media and you had purchased this, I think it was like a jacket, right? A Canada Goose jacket. And I thought it was so intriguing that I was like, oh my God, it looks good, Dustin. And you're like, yeah, I finally got it. And I was like, he was really calculating that purchase. I thought it was awesome because I'm such an impulse person, but like you have taught me something just within just the intention of simply getting something. And I love your idea of like writing a list and having an intention behind it and not making those impulse purchases. Because I feel like doing that, you're not going to lose out on so much money and you give yourself more time to like grow your other finances. So I think that's a really powerful tool. I just wanted to jump back there because I love that so much. Um,
You
so
want
I
to know the truth about that Canada Goose also?
yeah, the Canada Goose.
Well, I bought that Canada Goose used, and it was basically in brand new shape. I bought it used. I think I got it for about $500, brand new. It's about 1,100 or 1,200, 1,300, somewhere in there. When you talk
Mhm.
taxes and everything and stuff, you're talking $1,300. I bought that used in basically brand new shape for $500.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah,
Oh my,
I searched it on
that's
Facebook
awesome.
for like months. I looked for it and I waited, and then I got it, and I got a great deal on it, and I get a ton of compliments on it now, right?
That is so dope. I love that. So diving back into, I want to learn more about just kind of like tips on budgeting. I think we may have. Okay, so Dustin, as you know, ICON is all about overcoming negativity. And for those of you who are listening, ICON stands for I Can Overcome Negativity. And what this podcast is doing is creating a platform for all different type of leaders, professionals to really like give authentic feedback, but also talk about how they've overcome negativity. So Dustin, I would love to hear um, what overcoming negativity means to you, but like maybe a story or something and how you overcame negativity in your life.
Sure. Um, this is actually like a big focus of my like everyday life, and like mental health is like so important. I didn't realize like how serious it was. You know, growing up, I was pretty like very disciplined, and then going through the military, very disciplined as well. Still, I almost felt like I didn't even have emotion, right? And then you know, as I made built more relationships and made more connections and was tied to more people's lives and their kids and their relationships and things that they care about and their futures and stuff. I don't know. I felt like I started to connect more and relate a little bit more to people. And you know, kindness and positivity is so important to me. And don't get me wrong, there's times where like I have negative thoughts or I'm jealous of something or someone. Like we all have the same types of thoughts. I could relate to anybody on the same types of, you know, feelings or thoughts that we've all had, but it has to be, I think, intentional to like seek out positivity and to be kind. So I mean, the biggest thing for me is like discipline is what it comes down to for to you know, to overcome negativity. You know, I seek out kindness, I give kindness, I seek out positivity, and I try to be as positive as possible. Like life is hard, it really is, and sometimes people overcomplicate it. I think we make life more complicated than it should be. It can be so simple. It's just about the people that are around you and your family and your friends, and it's just about, you know, spending time together and experiencing things and moving forward and never being complacent. So um, I don't know if I have any one specific story. I mean, I try to smile as much as I can. I try to be energetic, you know, when I'm out and around people, because I think energy spreads and it's contagious. And I want other people to smile and be happy and feel included. So I go out of my way when I'm in group settings and stuff to, you know, if I feel like someone's not participating in the conversation or whatever, I try to get them engaged or, you know, buy them a drink or whatever, you know, whatever it is. I just want everyone to feel included and feel like, and I'm not trying in any way trying to fake that whatsoever. I think sometimes, you know, I see a lot of people post on their stories like, it's just me against everybody, da 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 da. It's like they post like stuff like, can't trust nobody. And I don't feel that way. I feel like I have people that I trust, and you know, people make mistakes and stuff, and it's about just communicating and keeping in touch with people. And I do that by like, you know, I don't text a lot of people. I mean, I'm busy, so I can't be on my phone texting people and stuff. I'm usually actually on the phone or in meetings and stuff. So, you know, if I don't text someone for throughout a whole day or a week or whatever, and I only hit, you know, those people, you know, that only hit you up on Friday, you know, it's like, that's okay. They have a life too, Monday through Friday. They have stuff going on. So just being understanding of like, everybody's got a lot going on, and it's difficult to, you know, you got to worry about your family. I mean, shoot, I'm, like I said, I'm single, right? And all I have to worry about is my work, right? I go to the gym, making sure I get good sleep and that I eat and that I go do whatever I want on the weekend or have some fun. You know, I don't know how people have enough time to have kids and to cook a full dinner and clean their whole house and be good at their job and, you know, get good sleep and do everything. You know, like I said, it all comes back down to like keeping it simple, you know, like um, I try to keep stuff as simple as possible. I don't like having a bunch of materialistic stuff or having a bunch of stuff that I have to worry about. It's like, I just want to spend time around people or travel or be out and be, you know, I know if I go out on a Thursday night or if I go find something to do on the weekend, I go watch football with people on Sundays or whatever. I just want to be around people. And I know that when I'm with them, we're having a good time. We're spreading positivity and, or working through, sometimes people, if something negative is going on in their life, they just need someone to talk to or just to listen. I don't know what to say half the time when someone's like, when something difficult is happening to them. I don't know how often to console them or to make them feel better, but I know that when someone cries, you cry with them. When someone laughs, you laugh with them. When someone's struggling, you struggle with them. I mean, that's just what I try to do at least. And if there's anything I can do to help them, but I guess on a professional note, like when it comes to overcoming negativity, I mean, essentially what I do is sales, and I get in sales, you get told a no a lot. And if you've listened to any motivational speakers or any of your mentors or anything like that, they're gonna the ones who have been successful, they're gonna say every no gets you closer to a yes. So if I have to get 9 no's to get one yes, every time someone tells me no, I'm like, all right, I only have 8 no's left. Someone
Yeah.
tells me no again. All right, I have 7 no's left, right? And then I'm gonna get a sale. And the sale, selling is helping someone. Selling isn't like forcing someone to buy something they don't want or manipulating them into believing they need something that they don't need. Selling is identifying a need. It's asking questions and
Mhm.
then presenting options. And when you're selling insurance, for example, we keep going back to insurance. When you're selling insurance, would you be upset if I got you to buy an insurance policy and then you realize, oh wait, if something happens to me, my family's going to be taken care of, or if I get disabled, like I'm going to get some money to take care to cover me while I can't work or whatever. I'm not going to feel that bad that I sold that to you, even if you didn't want it, you needed it. So I'm going to be happy that I made that sale. So uh,
Mm.
I guess I haven't had to overcome too many like really negative things as of lately. Life's been pretty good the last 5, 10 years. I don't know. The pandemic has been probably really hard on a lot of people. Not as, it didn't really affect me as much until the last like 6 months, a year. It just felt like, I don't know what's going on in Minneapolis. What's the future look like? Are we, is stuff going to go back to normal and stuff? And I know there's a lot of people kind of trapped in their apartments or just all they do is work or something because they don't know what else to do, spending their time. So I just encourage people to get on the phone with people, talk to people. If I don't know what people are doing still to kind of avoid COVID or what kind of limitations they're putting on themselves and their social life to like be around people, but I'm still doing that, and that's what makes me feel better, and I hope that I'm helping people overcome negativity as
Well, I
well.
mean, a lot of what you're talking about is like that human connection, and you may not think you overcame anything negative, but as you talk about just like the challenges that you have at work professionally, but also sometimes when you are, like you were saying, trying to support someone who is going through a struggle, like that is tough, because you have that emotional sometimes weight on you, but like you being there and being supportive, I think is super awesome. And I love like your theme of keeping things simple, right? And to me, that is like super powerful because for me, I'm somebody that I have to have things simple or I will not thrive even in like my home space. Like I don't like a lot of like a mess around me and things like that. I like to have like things neat because I operate better when I feel like I'm organized. So I love your theme of like keeping things simple, but I think it's also very powerful that you are someone who is a connector. And I feel like you, from what I hear, like you can connect to those emotions and give people that platform. And not always do we want to like match negative energy, but like you're there for them in that space, showing them like, here, I'm here to like listen. And I think like it's great to hear like you've had a great last couple years, but it's also great to hear that you're like recognizing that people around you are dealing with something, right? And I think like be part of being an icon is someone like that. Like we're not always going to go through something negative, but like recognizing that you can support someone and be that platform for them is huge. And I think that you do that in your work and in your personal life. So I commend you for that, Dustin. And I think that's really huge and awesome.
Thank you.
Yes. Okay, let's get into our next question. So, as we talked about overcoming negativity, I always like to hear who are the icons in people's lives. Who are those like icons that are like you are seeing like crushing shit, overcoming negativity on a daily basis, whether it's professionally or personally. I want to know who those icons are in your life.
Yeah, I mean, I when I was looking at this one, I was like, I don't know, does this have to be like big name people that I like, that everybody knows about and stuff? The reality is, like, the more I thought about it, the people that have really made an impact on my life aren't the YouTube motivational speakers, or aren't the big, billionaires like Mark Cuban, or I mean, some of the names I wrote down: Gary Vaynerchuk. I think he's very real with people. He keeps things simple, right? He has clear goals, and he tells people how it is. Sometimes I'm like that. My last name is Blount, and most people pronounce it Blunt, right? So I tell people I'm very blunt. It's my last name. So what? Take it. So I like to be really real with people and not beat around the bush. Like, if I feel like, um, they're off track or something, or they're making excuses or whatever, I'm like, hey, that's straight up an excuse. Like, no, nothing you can say to me right now, no excuse you can give me is going to be sufficient. Like, I have in my financial planning and insurance agency, I have about 65 people who have signed up and made a commitment to be a part of this business, whether they're a referral source or they're a licensed agent. They're building their own business too, and when they come to me and tell me, hey, I'm too busy to study for my license, or I'm too busy to schedule some appointments with potential clients or referral sources, or I'm too busy to do this or get on a training or whatever, I say, BS. BS. I'm involved in three multi-million-dollar companies. I go to the gym every day. I eat 3 meals a day. I hydrate and I sleep. I have a social life. Like, I do all these things, and I still manage to grow this business. And I've only been doing it for a few months with this current company. And I just tell them there's just no excuse, period. Like, there's none. But when it comes to like icons, it's more people. I guess I could say names and stuff, but people that have been in my life over the last 5, 10 years, managers at jobs, or friends that are a little bit older, and I would consider not just a friend but also like a mentor. But yeah, Gary Vaynerchuk has had a big impact on my life. Mark Cuban, pretty much anybody on Shark Tank, Damon John,
Love Shark
uh,
Tank.
yeah, Joe Rogan. There's a lot of stuff I like learning from him and the people that are on his show and stuff. But yeah, I guess I mean, even some of my friends and stuff have been, or I would say, icons. There's one person as of recently who's had I don't know, a big impact on my life. His name's Andrew Newman, and he's just someone I met out, kind of being out and socializing and stuff, and we were just friends for the last couple of years. But about a year ago, we started a business partnership together, and I thought I was good at business. I thought I was on top of my stuff, but seeing him do what he does, he's in supply chain. He works for a company called Kind. They do like granola bars and stuff like that. They were recently purchased by Mars, but he recently bought a house. He had his first kid. Her name's Olivia, and I don't know. He's just kind of set the example for me. He's 38. Set the example for me. I'm 29, and but he's 100% a friend first. But it's just super cool to have seen his business side, because a lot of your friends, I guess, you don't see that. You only see them out on the weekends. You don't talk about work, because when you're Monday through Friday we talk about work. Friday through Sunday we're like, all right, let's talk about football, or let's talk about whatever, something else. So him specifically has made an impact over me on me the last year, and definitely set a higher standard, or higher expectations for me. Helped me like expect more out of myself.
Oh, that's so awesome. And I love how, like, it's always, this is one of my favorite questions because people go from those big names. And then as I continue to think about it, it goes really back to your everyday life. We all have an icon within ourselves, but then in our own circles. And so I just love to hear people continue to talk about, like, who are those positive people in their lives, who are icons and who really help kind of drive. Um, the day-to-day basis. So I love that. And I think it's awesome to have someone who you can look up to like that, who is doing things like, having a child, but also like balancing work and balancing life and showing how that's done. So that's super awesome. So what would be some final words of advice? People were super excited about this conversation, Dustin, because people are trying to figure out finances. They're trying to figure out how to balance life, but also be a boss like you. So, like, what would be some of the final words of advice that you have?
I mean, my biggest thing is everyone can get motivated for a day or a week. They get really excited. They're like, I'm gonna start a new habit, and I'm gonna like start killing it at work, or I'm gonna start a business and I'm gonna explode my business. And I hear that all the time, and I'm like, we'll see, we'll see. You say that. I've heard that before from tons of people. I've been doing this consistently for years. I didn't till the last couple of years. I mean, I don't know. I've done well in my career even early, but like there was a big jump a couple of years ago. I mean, a massive jump, and I think that really came from the last 10 years of every single day. All I thought about was how am I going to achieve this goal? What do I have to do to get to the next step? Even if it's just like I made one tiny little baby step forward this week or one huge step forward in a week. Consistency is so important. Discipline and consistency are like my words, because in this kind of success, I think it's actually gotten easier, but it's also gotten harder to be really successful because things happen so fast and things change so quickly, and you need to constantly be learning, which is my next point. Like, never stop learning was kind of my words of advice I put. I actively seek out, like, on a weekly, daily basis, like I need to learn something every single day because first of all, the financial industry can be really complicated. It can be really simple, like I said, but it can also be really complicated. So I'm constantly getting on training calls. I don't have a boss, by the way. I'm my own boss, right? So forcing myself to do things that I don't want to do, or I kind of want to do, but I know that's going to take time and I need to put my time here or whatever. It's like I have to go out of my way to constantly be learning something. So um, I got some books just to show how important it is to like be reading.
Yes.
I'm always reading, and I don't always read a book. Like, I have a ton of books in my office, and I don't always read a book from like beginning to end, which is kind of frustrating because like I'm the type of person that has to like I have to complete a task. Like, I can't stop halfway out. Like, if I started reading this book, right? I started reading this book like a couple months ago. I only got through it about halfway, and then I was like, oh shoot, like I might even have to start the book over because I didn't, I don't remember exactly. It's got to all come together, right? But I think it's really important to read and constantly be learning. People have probably heard that a ton of times, but like you have to be intentional about it. And to be intentional about it, it needs to be written down. It needs to be a SMART goal, like have a specific time, it has to be measurable, has to be, have like a timeline to it, right? Has to have all these things. Look up SMART goal. And then also, like, I think our generation has kind of like forgotten what a calendar is, and how to be punctual and how to follow a schedule. Like, that is, if you want to be successful, that is like the most basic thing you need to do. When you say you're going to do something or you say you're going to be somewhere, you do it. And if you can't do it, you tell that person, you communicate to that person ahead of time, not after the fact, that you will or will not be there, or you need to reschedule or whatever, and be transparent and honest and truthful. Like, people understand that things come up. Just don't ghost them. We're like the ghost generation right now. I run a business, and I can't say I have signed non-disclosures, so I can't talk about some of the stuff online. But I hire a lot of people for another business that we have, and we have really high turnover, and we're doing interviews and stuff, and a lot of those people are under 30 that we hire, and they'll be part of the interview process for 2 to 3 weeks, and then they just disappear. So I don't know where that came from or why people think that's acceptable, but it just communicate. Don't be afraid to communicate, and be punctual. Do what you say you're going to do, and if you can't do it, let that person know. So those are some of the most basic things that I think have made me successful. Is just when I tell someone I'm going to be there for them, or when I tell someone I'm going to do something, I do it.
Yeah.
If I can't do it, I communicate to them why I can't, or if I need some help or what more resources, I find someone else. You got to ask a question. You got to ask for help because I mean we're supposed to be interconnected. We're not supposed to be dependent on each other. We're supposed to be um, interconnected to each other. So
Mhm.
that's, I guess, my words of advice. Meet with a financial professional. It's free to do so. It's
And
free
Dustin is your guy.
to meet with me. I work with people who have millions of dollars. I work with people who have tens of dollars, right? And I can help everybody. I can help someone set up a free will. I can help you set up insurance for yourself. So if something happens to you, your kids or your spouse are taken care of, or if you want to leave money to your church or a charitable organization, you can do that too. If you want to make sure your dog's taken care of if something happens to you, you can leave your dog as your beneficiary to an insurance policy. I can help someone kind of figure out where they're at, where they're going. I even help advise people in their career, not just on their finances alone. Like, one of the most important things in finances is making more money. When I ask people, would you rather make more money or spend less? They tell me, I want to make more money, spend more, right? So in order to do that, you have to talk to, first of all, people within your industry at your company that you work at and ask for advice, ask for tips, how you can do more, how you can be better. And I will say that people that I promoted within my company, they're always people that have done more
Mm.
without being asked. So I heard that when I was kind of young in the industry too, and I like would do a few extra things. I'd go above and beyond. I guess I would beat my teammates. I would beat my peers. That's what I would try to do. But there's competition out there way that are doing way more than your peers are doing, right? So
Mm.
find those people who are just setting completely new highs, setting what I call Olympic records in business or whatever field whatever focus you're talking about. But so there's always someone that wants to help or wants to mentor or wants to share some advice, but don't take advice from people who aren't really killing it. So make sure they really
Oh,
are.
I love that because, like, I mean, do you know who Napoleon Hill is?
I do, yeah.
And he always talks about, going the extra mile, and like you said, you're always doing more. And I think there's something to be said about that, especially when we talk about building that American culture. But I do want to ask you, Dustin, because you are super, super busy. When do you self-care, dude? Like, I just want to know. I'm all about self-care, and maybe I do it a little too much. But like, I want to know when do you take time to like
I guess what does
do
self-care look like
yourself?
for you? What does self-care look like for you?
For me, it's like going outside. Like if I'm like not feeling like good that day, I'll go outside and get some air. Self-care means talking to people that I care about. Self-care also looks like just like eating well. And I know like you talked about working out and stuff, but like I didn't hear when you have like a downtime for yourself.
To be honest, that's hard to answer. I mean, obviously, I like to go out on the weekends. That's kind of my like vice. But I've since like as of lately, and almost like this is kind of like my cliff for that. Like I'm kind of starting to go down a different path. I don't know if that's what I want to continue to do with my Friday and Saturday nights. I mean, I have so much opportunity in my businesses and in my career that I'm like, hey, I could cut this out. It's important for me to have a network in sales and know people and
Mm.
like constantly be meeting more people and stuff. But I guess part of my self-care would be like going out on the weekends and stuff. But um, you know, I'm extra. I'm really extra. I do all the things. I go to the gym an hour every day. I like eat very healthy. I get these meal. I actually get these meals that get sent to me in a box every Wednesday or whatever. They're called factor meals. They're like healthy and high protein and all that stuff. And I do that because I don't have much time to cook or meal prep and do some of that other stuff. But I don't know. I guess everybody self cares in a different way. But I've kind of ingrained myself so much in my career and my business that that kind of is my life and that kind of is my self-care. Is this is what gives me gets me up in the morning, is I'm excited about building something and training and coaching and leading new agents and new financial professionals on my team. And I have a big responsibility to my clients as well. I mean, I just wrote a policy for a gentleman and his daughter. We're planning for her college. We're making sure that if something happens to him, she's left with something, and these are really important things. If I don't get these things done, let's say, he doesn't have insurance or she doesn't get college paid for. I mean, I'm helping people achieve big goals. They're not just financial goals. They're planning for their futures and stuff. So I don't know. I don't know exactly when my self-care time is. Maybe it's when I'm taking a shower in the morning and I just get like time to just not think about something for a little bit. But
Yeah, we're gonna work on that, Dustin. We're gonna like
it's my social time on the weekends. I do go out and have some fun and stuff, but I don't want people to think that I live for just the weekend. I enjoy my work during the week, and I enjoy my time being around my colleagues and my clients and stuff like that. So.
well, it's just so awesome because like you are showcasing like this drive, right? That a lot of people just don't have. So I think it's super awesome. But I do encourage you more self-care, more than just a shower in the morning.
All right, you got
Well,
it.
Dustin, it's been such a pleasure to have you on episode 2 of I Am an Icon. And people, I really hope you hear Dustin out on when he talks about the finances, and he is definitely someone to get in your network and to plug in because he is awesome. I'll include more information about what he does in the podcast post. So thank you all until next time. Thanks, Dustin.
Take care. Have a great day.